If you're a real estate wholesaler, you're looking to use SEO to get consistent motivated sellers by being found organically on Google through your website. It's a great way to get motivated sellers. But throughout the video, if you want me to do your SEO for you instead, feel free to click the link in the description below and I'd be happy to chat with you. But let's get to the video. All right, so today I'm going to go through the few steps of actually doing SEO as a real estate investor. That way you can actually get consistent motivated sellers through your website. You don't have to pay every time somebody clicks on it, and it's a lot easier, than doing a lot of other things to actually get motivated sellers. Now, here's the deal. There's a few steps to it. It's really not that difficult. It's very simple, but it's not easy to do this by any means. I want this to be the only video you have to watch when it comes to actually knowing on how to do SEO. I've watched every single SEO person on YouTube. I've gotten consulting from every single SEO person you can probably imagine. And I'm a real estate investor only. I only do SEO, PPC, and Google Business Profiles for other wholesalers and flippers all across the country. And so I took all this info I learned and just wanted to dumb it down here into one single video. That way, if you're a wholesaler or a flipper, it is your lucky day because people charge for this kind of information, and I'm just going to give it out completely for free here because I want to make sure everybody is in the know of really how to actually get your website up there, because this is the type of video I wish I would have had a few years ago when I started doing SEO for my own business and now also for other people. So basically, we're going to go through a basic steps, and like I said, it's pretty simple, but it's definitely not easy to actually execute on this. And so the first thing we're going to go over on what actually Google decides on why things rank, right? Like, for example, Sell My House Fast. Here's my website here that ranks at the top. Cash home buyers near me. Here's my profile as well as my website at the top for that one. We Buy Houses, Sioux Falls. Here's mine, number 2 under Homelight, which is okay. This is a PPC campaign up here. But also here is my Google Business Profile. So as you can see, I've had a lot of success from it. I'm only in an area of 250,000 people, and we get 10 consistent motivated sellers pretty much month over month, every single month. And that's the great part about it, is because, as we all know, if a seller is coming through Google, there's a lot of conviction and a lot of motivation. And so the close rate for me is anywhere from 1 in 3, 1 in 4 people usually. And so that's what's so awesome and why it's so worth it to do SEO. But also, too, basically what Google decides when they decided on who's ranking and who's not. The two things we really need to break down when it comes to ranking an actual website. This doesn't apply to profiles. This doesn't apply to PPC campaigns. I have other videos on my channel about that. I'm talking about organic website. Is relevancy and credibility. Those are the two main things that Google is looking at, because all they want to do, that's where they make billions of dollars every single year, is by providing the best, most relevant, credible results to the person looking something up. So we just want to play the game of Google. That's really all we're trying to do. So what I mean by this is relevancy and credibility, those two parts. Relevancy is basically what is on your page. So if I click on this URL, my website is going to pull up, and it has everything. It has the form, it has my entire page, and I'll pull this up actually for an example here. Just didn't want to do it on incognito just to mess up my click-through rate, but here's my website. It's nothing crazy by any means. This is honestly very old looking, and I honestly think it kind of looks a little shitty in my opinion, but it's something where it still gets consistent motivated sellers every month because it consistently ranks well. And so when you have this is what you want, but this is relevancy. There's a reason that the header is what it is. There's a reason that the subheaders are, the form, all this content in here. Like, this content isn't just for nothing. When you're making a website, all of this on page is not just for nothing. And which brings me into my first step here, which is on-page SEO. This is the first step that actually is the biggest step of it all. If you have bad on-page SEO, you will not rank. No matter, you could have all the backlinks, which we'll get to in a second. You could have all the backlinks in the world, all the credibility in the world. But if your on-page does not work, it's not going to work because you're not relevant to what Google is trying to actually give to its people who are searching it up. And so that's what we want. On-page SEO is 90% of SEO. Now, what I'm going to do is in the description, I'm going to put a video of me going through an entire on-page checklist that I not only do for my own website, but also for all my clients all across the country, an entire checklist of what I do step by step to make sure that the on-page has these things, right? So that you can go ahead and watch that video down below, make sure your website has all of those things. I would highly recommend it. So, with that being said, though, is how do we know how much content to put on the page? How do we know how much words, what type of headers to have? And this is what I also call competition analysis. So, pretty much what I would do if you were trying to rank in my area, you'd pretty much go to the top 3 guys in our local area just to see who ranks the best. And pretty much, if I was in my market, I'd go off of these two, and you want to just see their on page as well as what they're doing, how many words they have, how many headers they have, how many times do they use the keyword in the header, what's their keyword density, which I have a video I'm also going to paste down below, which is an entire video 1 hour long of me doing competition analysis when I have a client in San Antonio when I was creating his website. It's an entire video of me literally start to finish analyzing his competition and why I'm going to set his website up for the way it was. And simply, I like to use the Chrome extension called SEO Quake. It's completely free, and you're going to get all the page info with everything. You're going to get the keyword density, how many times I use Sioux Falls, everything like that. It's a great tool, and it's completely free. And in the competition analysis video, you'll see what I'm talking about. So pretty much what we've covered is that, okay, now we need to make sure our website is relevant. And honestly, in my opinion, I would consider that to be 90% of the way there. If you can master the ability to make your website as relevant as possible, even if it's brand new, you're 90% of the way there. However, the problem here is that 90% of the way there in SEO is not going to cut it. You might land on the third, second, fourth page, depending on how competitive your area is, with no credibility but good on page. And so what really is that leftover 10% that actually gets us to rank at the top? And that's what we call backlinks. Essentially what that is, for example, if the New York Times wrote an article about Sioux Empire home buyers, my company, and saying how they're the best cash home buyer in Sioux Falls, this is why you should choose them, yada yada. Basically, what that does is when New York Times writes the article and links my website in their article and links it over to the website, basically what that's doing is like passing power, because obviously the Google sees that as New York Times, very credible website. SiouxEmpireHomebuyers.com, not as credible as New York Times. However, if they get a link from New York Times linking over, basically that's telling Google in their head, oh, okay, so the New York Times linked over to Sioux Empire Homebuyers. So these Sioux Empire Homebuyers guys must be really cool. They must be really credible if the New York Times are linking to them. And so it's just a game of credibility is all it is. And so it's very simple. Once you've analyzed your competition, you've done your on-page checklist, you watch these 2 videos, you do everything I say in those 2 videos, you'll have success with that. Once that's done, we immediately need to get backlinks. How we do this is because obviously that doesn't mean your competitors have backlinks from the New York Times necessarily. We're all local businesses. It's very tough to get links like that. And so what I call backlink gap analysis is where this comes into play. So for example, I would put I use SEMrush. SEMrush, it costs $130 a month. You don't need to actually buy it. There's other services out there. This is just the one I use consistently because I do it a lot. And so what you need to do is you need to go in here and make sure that you put the domain of all the competitors in here. So for example, if I went to Gem State Cash Offer and I went over here to all their backlinks, I'm going to look at and see what type of backlinks they have. And typically I'm going to go top to bottom from right here just to see what types of links. So for example, all backlink gap analysis is just trying to get the same links that your competitors have. Right here, if they have a Pinterest link, go ahead and make a Pinterest profile and link your website in there. Perfect. Easy enough. If they have Go Banking Rates, this is where we can get this link. Best of Online, AP News, all these people. So you have a few options. You can obviously reach out to these links, FinTech Zoom, Tech Simply, whatever. You can reach out to these people and actually get links from them if they accept it. But what's even easier is if you go to helpareporter.com. This is where I would bet my entire life savings that they got these links from, which was helpareporter.com. And really, what it does is it's going to send out basically queries from reporters who are looking for credible sources in whatever niche. Specifically, this one's talking about, let's see here, 4 cities on the rise in 2023 to consider affordable living. And I'm sure they talked about Boise, Idaho, because it looks like that's where this person is from. If you go in here, basically you're gonna notice it's linking to all these different guys, right? And so wherever their link is in this, whatever, you get the point. But clearly this person, this author, this reporter was looking at credible sources to show ideas for 4 cities on the rise, right? And so when they do that, they send out a query through helpareporter.com. It's just a simple email. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything to get these links, which is crazy to think about. But they send you emails 3 times a day. If you check the email 3 times a day, you can make sure, because what we're looking for is we're looking for relevant to us, meaning like real estate related. As you can see, 4 cities on the rise. And then you can keep going down here and you can see small towns, affordable houses, news. 5 benefits of selling your house to cash buyers. Stuff like this. Like this is obviously like stuff that's related to our niche, and they send out things every single week that you can put your query in. Now, what I will say is in Harrow, you're going to submit your opinion. Because basically what they're going to do is they're going to quote, if they like your stuff that you send them and email them, they're going to quote you in the article. However, obviously you're going to notice that when you start doing Harrow, you're not every single query that you respond to is going to be linked to you, right? It's going to take some time. You have to provide really quality content to actually get links. So like achieving a link like this is not the easiest thing in the world to do. And so you have to provide quality content. But literally, that's the game of SEO. That's literally, if I could break it down as easy as I possibly can. I know I talk about this and it's a second nature to me, but I'm trying to break it down as best I can to a kindergartner level. On page, making sure your content's relevant and credible. But how do we make it relevant? We make sure we analyze our competitors, see how we use what we call SEO Quake. We're going to see how many words they have. We're going to see how many headers they have. We're going to see how often we're using the keywords, meaning keyword density. So in this case, for example, you're going to want to make sure you use the 2 words Sioux Falls 4% of the time on average. If you're too low or too high, it could wreck you, right? Like I said, I have an entire competition analysis video, on-page checklist video, and I'm also going to put a video down below that is completely talking about me start to finish. In this video, I'm writing content completely start to finish. Show you exactly how to write content as well. So go watch those 3 videos, and I promise you'll be very, very, very relevant and make sure that you have the right everything correct. Then from there, once your on-page is relevant as possible, all you need to do is build credibility. This right here is completely free. You can get insanely good backlinks from really, really, really credible websites for free, literally for free, if you just put in the effort a few times a week to provide some value to these reporters. And 1 out of every so often, you'll get a link to these people. And it's a great, great opportunity for guys like us because we don't have to pay for these and they're very, very credible. And so that's what you need to notice is once you have your on-page set up, you need to analyze your competitors to see what type of backlinks they have. Obviously, these are all Harrow links, and then there's other lists with Clever, no big deal. You could reach out to all these other people. You can reach out to whoever you need to try to get a link from these people. And so with that, it's very, very simple. All you need to do, get as relevant as you possibly can, and then you need to analyze the competition's backlinks. And these backlinks, using the software like SEMrush, you can see what type of them they have. Most of the time, if your competitors have them, you can also get them, unless it's a rare exception. Most of the time, the links that you're going to want is from Harrow. This is the easiest thing. It literally costs $0. If you do this, you could definitely see an increase in success because backlinks are all about quality over quantity. As you can see, 5,300 backlinks. I would rather have 500 really, really, really good backlinks instead of 5,300 crap backlinks, right? And so that's really the game of SEO. If I can break it down for a kindergartner, basically that's what it is. Get your page as relevant as possible. Watch my on-page checklist, watch me write content, watch me analyze my competitors to know exactly how I am writing my content and why I'm writing my content like that. You get that solved, you're 90% of the way there, then literally just spend your time on Harrow a few times a week and get backlinks as much as you can. Provide as much value to these reporters when they send out emails looking for real estate professionals to provide insight on a topic. Do that, and I promise you will see a humongous increase and a huge benefit to your website when you do these 2 things right. You're going to see all the noise out here on YouTube. You're going to see all these gurus. You're going to see all these people trying to sell you a course, trying to do this, that, whatever. And they say they have the secret ticket. They have this new thing. They have this this science down to this, that, whatever. And they try to make SEO way more complicated than it actually is. Yes, it's not easy, but it's very simple. Just do these two things. Be relevant and credible, as relevant and as credible as your competitors. And I promise you will rank at the top. There's nothing else you need to know. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Like I said, if you want me to do your SEO for you instead, by all means, watch my videos, do SEO as much as you can on your own if you have the time to do so. But if you don't have the time for all this, feel free to click the link in the description. I'd be happy to do your SEO for you instead. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, but thanks for watching.